Now look at this.
You need to leave. Get up and leave the court. Get out. Step out. Get out.
Welcome back to the LackLuster channel. The village of Cold Springs in New York is a small village about 50 miles outside of the big city, with a population of less than 2,000 people. In 2020, many of the residents raised concerns over a newly added blue line flag on the police department's cruisers. In response to emails and comments at the village board meeting, the town promptly removed the blue line decals. That same year, Officer Scott Morris resigned after village residents learned that he was the lead officer on an incident 8 years prior that led to a fatal shooting of an unarmed man. And the year prior, the village's lead officer, Larry Burke, also an ex-NYPD officer, recommended that they hire Kenneth Baker as a patrolman. The village hired Baker despite the fact that at the time, he was named in 8 known lawsuits that collectively settled for over $300,000. Leroy Truth Investigations has been traveling to this town for many years.
One of my favorite places to visit in the whole world was a little village called the Village of Cold Spring. Awesome people, wonderful restaurants, wonderful antique shops.
But in the summer of 2023, he was driving through and pulled over to make an important call. He admits that the vehicle was in park and that the engine was off, but that he was also improperly parked, and that this drew the attention of Officer Baker. And when he approached, Leroy alleges that Officer Baker was aggressive and escalated a parking infraction to a verbal argument, and eventually cited Leroy for a moving violation, improper use of a cell phone rather than a parking violation. After this encounter, Leroy looked into the officer's past and found the 8 previously mentioned lawsuits, as well as 43 allegations of misconduct. So he traveled to the town to ask the residents about the officer during a village event.
Officer Kenneth Baker, he is a police officer here in the Village of Cold Spring, New York, and he has a brutal, vicious past. He has no right to yell with venom at him or me or anyone else.
Because when
it's called professionalism.
Because people attack the police, you have to start up here.
Oh, I've seen that guy before. That cop.
Yeah, he's here. And what do you know about him?
He stopped us because we were biking without like bicycle helmets, and we're like above the age, like you don't need a helmet.
Right. What was the interaction?
He was like yelling at us.
He was yelling at us. Yeah.
Like you were the loud tone. Yeah, loud tone. Threatens. He said he threatened to arrest us, take us to like the station or something.
Sometimes you have to start a little bit higher because you don't know what the person's going to do.
You can't approach the situation up here.
So literally you're saying because he may have been negatively talked by someone else, he had a right to with venom after 2 seconds of being parked somewhere.
He's saying 2 seconds. His story might be 10 minutes.
No,
what are
you talking about?
We don't know.
I know, I was there.
At Leroy's first court appearance for his citation, it's alleged that Officer Baker took him into a private office and pressured him to take a plea deal, to which Leroy refused and called him a jackass. Leroy then returned to the courtroom, and the head officer in Cold Springs appeared 5 minutes later, forcing him to leave. And because of Leroy's presence and videos of the town, he began receiving emails from locals complaining about the officer, so he sent emails of his own to the mayor, the village board, and the local newspaper, which went unanswered. So Leroy traveled to the village to attend a village board meeting.
Any other members of the public would like to speak?
Yep, I would.
Name and address for the record, please.
I'm not going to give that. You call me,
Name and address for the record.
you can call me Mr. Freeman.
You can call me Mayor Foley.
I'm not going to call you anything, but
Your name and address for the record.
I am not going to surrender my Fourth Amendment right to be able to speak in a public session.
Sir, you've been asked. The ground rule here is your name and address for the record.
Do the ground rules get suspended? Like, do the Fourth Amendment get suspended when I come in here? I don't.
Say your piece.
All right, I'm going to tell you what is important to share for this town.
After telling him to begin, the mayor appears to intentionally interrupt Leroy on multiple occasions.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Village of Cold
You have
Spring,
3 minutes. Start the timer, please.
I stand before you today.
I'm sorry. If you would hold on
Excuse
for
me,
a
how
moment.
rude you are.
Excuse me, sir. No.
How
I
rude you
neglected.
are.
I am neglected.
Now you're
to-
giving a
You have
time
3
limit?
minutes. That's right, and it's on the agenda. There's a 3-minute limit.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Village of Cold Spring, and all the board members here, you know who I am. Mayor Foley, you know who I am as well. I stand before you today with a heavy heart, echoing the cries of the village of this Cold Spring community. Our beautiful, serene village,
Sir, you've been
known
a
for its
resident of
warmth
this
and
village.
hospitality, has had a dark shadow cast upon it for the last 4 years by a violent, brutal, and aggressive predator, Officer Kenneth Baker. Don't interrupt me again. From local business owners to tourists, from our elderly to our youth, Many live in fear due to the actions of this very individual. His reign of terror must end, and it must end now.
This is Aaron Freimark, running unopposed for a seat on the village board. He now looks over and notices Leroy's camera is filming the event and gets up to move in front of it.
Officer Kenneth Baker must be fired immediately. And you see how they're in collusion here. And you're going to have a lot of people seeing this. The mayor had this man here go in front of my camera to block my camera.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
It's on camera.
This gentleman was not asked to move.
Officer Kenneth Baker must be fired immediately. How did we get here? In 2019, you had a choice. You knew of Officer Baker's tainted history, a track record filled with extreme police brutality while he was an NYPD police officer. Yet based on mere recommendation by Officer Larry Burke, he was not only hired, but also given the power to patrol our peaceful streets.
Our peaceful streets.
Mayor,
You are not a resident, sir.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Stop interrupting me.
You stop
Mayor and the village board of trustees, you allowed this wolf amongst our flock and continue to do so. And for that, you bear the responsibility. And sadly, my story with my interactions with Kenneth Baker, who is aggressive and brutal, are not unique. And I took it upon myself to research more about Officer Baker and found a troubling history of brutality and substantial legal settlements in his past that you knew about. More recently, an 88-year-old couple, lovely couple, that comes here to the beautiful village. They came here every week to go to one or two restaurants. And Kenneth Baker terrorized them so much that the 88-year-old gentleman has PTSD, and they vowed to never come here again. And what was their crime? Their crime was the gentleman parked next to the restaurant so his handicapped wife can get out with her walker. Kenneth Baker didn't like that, and he yelled at them. He was incredibly aggressive, and so much so that they will never come here again. And when I came to the community day this past Saturday, scores of people told me stories of police brutality and aggressiveness that Kenneth Baker did. So I'm calling on each of you to do the right thing and fire Kenneth Baker and Larry Burke, who removed me illegally and unlawfully on Kenneth Baker's behest from this court when the court was in session. Do the right thing. Fire him. And your arrogance and how you are not caring about what I'm saying is disgusting. This is
Comments are
disgusting.
offensive and attacking.
This-
Comments are offensive and attacking. Comments are offensive and attacking.
Yes,
You have been rude since I started here.
And your time is up.
And do the right thing and fire Kenneth Baker.
Let the record reflect that this gentleman is not a resident of the village of Cold Spring. He is not a constituent of this board.
Mayor Kathleen Foley now doxes Leroy.
His name is... He is a YouTube First Amendment activist. This is about clicks, and it's about money. We are accountable. I am talking now, and I am the mayor, sir.
Don't talk to me like that. This is about accountability.
You may leave.
This is about accountability.
You've been asked
No,
to leave.
you interrupted me.
I have asked you to leave the room.
You interrupted me.
I have asked you to leave the room.
Now look at
You
this.
need to leave.
Under
You need to leave. Get up and leave the court. This me.
Let me have my. Hey, my keys are here. Excuse
I'll
me.
get your keys. I'll get your keys.
Look at this. Look at this. What he's
Yes.
doing.
Oh.
This is the disgusting Village of Cold Spring board and police officer.
Not tolerating unlawful behavior.
Her interruption was unlawful to me. If you call this unlawful behavior.
You can stand outside. I'll get your keys.
And what is the unlawful behavior? I want you to stay. Stop pushing me. Stop pushing me.
I'm going to tell you
I'm
one last
outside
time.
right here.
Get out. Step out. Get out. You're not gonna disrupt a public meeting.
I didn't disrupt the public meeting.
Yes, you did. So
You're not going to bully the mayor or the board. Here are your keys. I asked one question for you. You came here on Community Day and you said you interviewed all of these people and they all came to you with their complaints. What about the residents that were here that told you we did a great job and they appreciated police? That never goes on your videos, do they? So
Nobody, not one single person
You're
said
lying.
they did a
You're lying.
great job. No, I'm not.
You're lying.
You,
I know the residents.
Why
here.
did you remove me
I know
from
the residents
the
here,
court?
and they
Why did you illegally remove me from the court?
Here, so.
Tell the truth here.
Yeah,
This is your
you
chance.
showed in there
Why?
again. So,
why
I'm
did
done.
you remove me illegally from the court? When the court was in session, why did you do that? Pieces of crap.
Is a YouTuber who makes money under the name Leroy Justice, going after, he's a First Amendment activist. It is his job to aggravate public officials and to create controversy. He has a case before our court right now. There will be no comment made on any situation that he has raised. He is not a village resident. We are not accountable to this gentleman. With that, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Leroy has since requested the official records in Officer Baker's file, and though he has copies of the complaints that residents claim to have filed with the department, they do not appear to have been put on the record. So let me know what you think. Why is there such an epidemic of brutal cops hopping from department to department? And why do these smaller towns appear to protect these officers? Leroy happens to have court the day that this video is being released, at 5 p.m. Eastern, so be sure to check out the comment section and Leroy's channel for updates on the case. And if anything ever moves forward with Officer Baker, I'll be sure to let you know.